A phenomenal weekend of action here at the 2023 Silverstone Festival. Wherever you have watched it from, trackside or from the couch, hopefully this will entertain as well. They did have a wet qualifying session, as you can see, because that's not a novice cross for Ollie Bryant, unless there's a different Ollie Bryant that I'm not aware of. He's certainly not shown himself to be a novice today.
As they get used to the track, but actually, thankfully, it's remained beautiful and sunny since we had that shower around about lunchtime. But that
260Z further back down it, the silver car down towards the tail of the field. So these are based on production road-going sports cars, modified for racing. It is what it says on the tin, Roadsports. The final race here at the Silverstone Festival 2023. As they come to the line, it is poleman John Davison who will head the field away for the HSCC Road Philip House, and it is the V8s that are going to make their way through, and Steve Deeks in the orange Porsche will also try and get by the Elan as quickly as possible to stop those front engine V8 cars getting by. So the first of the Morgans has gone by. Here comes Kivloken down the straight, unleashing the Ford engine. Fourth place from sixth on the grid. He's got ahead of two of the pesky Morgans already.
Very appropriate number for Steve Deeks, 911 for his 911 Porsche as they go through.
And so there's a straight, and as soon as you get onto the straight, bye-bye big engine V8s. Here comes Best at home on the tight and twisty stuff, but again another straight awaits, and the two V8 cars behind are going to open the taps and try and come at least steaming by before they get to the end of the straight bit.
More powerful car around the outside, but John Davison, having nothing of it, holds the inside line, so he stays in second place as they exit Luffield, go through Woodcote. Now the next problem for John Davison is we've got a long straight, or longish,
to keep that Elan in touch.
And in fact the Elan in second place, Davison with a bit of clear track in front of him as the third and fourth place cars go side by side, and it's going to be a change with William Plant going through on the inside of Kevin Kivloken, and that gives Steve Deeks a chance as well in the orange Porsche number 911 as they go through Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight once again.
Cars that are not yet being attended to, and figured, well, I've got all the time in the world. I can't see that there's an advantage to not coming in, other than you hope that there will be many more cars coming in now and therefore many fewer cars in the pit. Okay. What you don't want to do is not come in second time round, because then really, you know, it's like being caught speeding by a marked police car that sat behind you. You deserve to be done for stupidity as well as speeding, for not slowing down when the marked police car was sitting there or not seeing him. Right. There's the time. Woo, hello. There's the time. Ooh, you're a little fast being released, in which case you gain a penalty. We'll wait and see exactly how that happens. But Steve Deeks, yeah, out behind Nigel Greensill.
And the 79 Morgan, the William Plant
at the front of the queue. But the cars that have stopped now, here they come. So Morgan leads, and then the Lotus Elan that started on pole position. John Davison remains in it. Nigel Greensill in the blue Cobra. That is the third place car of those that have stopped. And Steve Deeks in the Porsche in fifth position behind 79, which is now Richard Plant in the Plant family car. 173 is a lap or possibly even 2 laps down. The little MG midget. Oh, and contact! The door was very wide indeed. You told me not to go out over the curbs there at Cops Corner, Steve. What are you doing? Nigel Greensill leads. He has been a bit Nigel Mans, hasn't he? Doing a bit of a Red 5 hero stint. And here is the battle for fourth place, I think. And the blue and white 911 joining in on the act as well. Now that's the first time he's been this far up the sharp end. That's kind of a no, that's not Simon King. Simon King's in the Morgan, and steaming up the inside comes Simon King. There he goes, whizzing by Richard Plant.
I think it's John Williams, the blue Porsche.
Yes.
So he's made up some good ground because he wasn't in the lead group pre the...
No, he was in the next group trying to break away and catch up to the back of them, and in fact that happened, of course, when the safety car came out. Big moment.
Did we get a spin there for...
Yeah, it was either a spin or an absolutely lurid slide collected. I think the 51 car is still just about there. Yes, he is.
That's save of the day then, isn't it?
Oh, isn't that? That was a full wet weather moment in the bone dry. So an enormous moment there, really chasing the throttle, and I think that's just put the frighteners on him a little bit. Richard Plant goes up the inside of Simon King. Steve Deeks 911, and right behind him, where did the other... John Williams started in 9th place, so yeah, he got sort of shuffled back a little bit at the start and lost contact with the lead group, but the safety car brought them back in. Then they went into the pits together, they've come out together. So Nigel Greensell leads from John Davison, and then everybody else is third. Tiniest of touches there from the 911 SC of Steve Deeks. These mid-80s Porsches, the two of them, Steve Deeks and John Williams right behind him.
The lead, Morgan in this group, just starting to break away, but the other cars all still tied together. The two Porsches and the Morgan at the back, all battling for places in the top 6.
Yeah, Richard Plant had a little bit of a moment, and then in the 51 car Simon King really scared himself and caught us by surprise, so he's dropped back into 4th place. Steve Deeks in 5th.
But he's coming back.
Yeah, and John Williams has now been passed by the next Morgan in the queue as well. Is that Keith Arlers? It will be, won't it? He was waiting to take over. So that'll be car number 80, I think. Keith Arlers took over from John Shaw. We'll see if it's the checkered helmet when he comes closer to the camera.
Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the way it's being driven, yeah, it is. The way it's being driven as well has Keith Arlers in a Morgan with his tail up all over it. Steve Deeks has got the same Morgan in both mirrors almost exactly at the same time. Arlers coming down the inside. The battle in front remains King ahead of Plant, and Deeks holds on from Arlers and Williams.
Into club corner they come, so the number 51 Morgan, Simon King, who had that big lurid moment here last time around, manages to keep it in a straight line this time, and has got himself back to the head of that group after losing a place.
Now the lead of Nigel Greensell over John Davison is 6.5 seconds. Davison 7.2 seconds ahead of this group as well, and 7.2 seconds back from here goes down to about 14th place. So this group all covered by about 2.5 seconds, and up the inside comes John Williams trying to retake the place from Keith Arlers, and Keith Arlers goes, you can't do that to my Morgan because I've got the inside line and the power to pull away from you as well. So there is John Davison's Elan in second, just running over that little bit of easy dry, and then Morgan's, this is King and Plant battling for third. Deeks, the orange Porsche, in 5th, Arlers in 6th in his Morgan, and 7th place is there are 2 or 3 drivers, and Nigel Greensell is I think possibly the one who's done more races here than, I was going to say, than everybody else combined, and that's possibly the case. However, so Steve Deeks again got a good run down the straight and out of Copse Corner, down through Maggots and into the Beckett's S's. Needs to keep that speed up. The Morgans are doing a really good job together of staying just out of his reach. So Simon King, Richard Plant in the 51 car, and then Steve Deeks head down and charging in 911. He's really trying to find something different, isn't he? And he might get a little bit of something different from another Porsche. You can see that red 924. That's the next bit of traffic they're going to catch as Simon King just goes onto the racing line ahead of Richard Plant, leaving Plant to deal with the Porsche. And the 924 may just possibly be in the wrong place for these Morgans to really keep their speed up. He tries to stay out of the way, but he's got to turn left there at some stage. So in the number 3 car, and that's a much less modified car, Pete Connell and John Fawkes in their 1979 924. Well, doesn't help Steve Deeks at all. In fact, actually, Deeks running out a little wide there, had to take a tighter line onto the straight because the 924 was there. Does not lose out to Keith Arles, but did not gain on King and Plant.
Through the section fast corners leading up to the much slower village corner, and a possible move up the inside from Steve Deeks there, but cut off by Richard Plant. But Plant is now closing in on Simon King again, and look at Keith Arles as well, trying to take a tight line, trying to get an overlap on the orange Porsche, and if he does, he'll have a good line down to Brooklands, but that doesn't work out. The Porsche manages to take the position back as they go on to the Wellington Straight, and now it's Morgan versus Morgan, Porsche versus Morgan and Porsche as they come down into Brooklands.
This is where Steve Deeks is going to have to do something. I was just thinking he's not going to match them on pace. He's going to have to be even braver under braking. He goes the long way round the outside. That 911 chassis helps him around the outside of the Morgan, so he does pick up a place. This is for third, don't forget. Simon King in the 51 Morgan is in third. Now, can the +8 come back against the Porsche down the straight? Certainly it looks like Richard Plant thinks it can. There's trouble for the 240Z. That was the better of the Datsuns in the race, but Steve Deeks holds on. He is just going to have to do it under braking. He can't do it on the straight. The Morgan's got just enough to stay out of reach. He doesn't have any power advantage. He's got to make something happen under braking, and maybe in the Beckett's S's. Oh, and he just overruns going in very deep place. They come across the line now, and Steve Deeks should be in 5th place. He is indeed in the orange 911. Not repeating myself, that's just the car number. And 6th place, Keith Arles brings the car across the line. Roadsports Trophy, 40-minute driver change race. Kevin Kulocken and Nigel Greensall winning the final race of the Silverstone Festival in the Shelby Cobra. John Davison from pole in 2nd place in his Lotus Elan and winning his class. Simon King in the Morgan ahead of the Plant family's car. Steve Deeks, the best Porsche, ahead of Keith Arles, the flag, who was the 2nd driver.